As some of you might know, using a bandsaw leaves behind burrs. These are very sharp. I'll just round the corners here. Now that I have deburred everything and made sure it's safe to handle, I would like to show you how it's all going to be assembled. First of all, we have the exhaust stack, the air intake, the fuel input, and the 4 feet right here. And of course we have the stovetop. As you guys might have noticed, there's no way for the fuel to get into the combustion chamber. Therefore, I will have to cut out a chunk of this pipe. Now that I have cut out this piece, there's plenty of room for the fuel to get into the combustion chamber. There is just one more thing I have to do before I can start some of the welding and assembly. And that thing is to get rid of the surface oxide where I have to lay down my weld. The next step of the fabrication process is to weld it together. When TIG welding, it's extremely important to have the clamp attached to a workpiece or the welding table if it is conductible. Now let's get welding. I have now finished welding the general structure of this rocket stove. As you can see, the welds are pretty decent, but it's very hard to get into these small crevices, which meant this one got a bit clumpy, and these out here have undercut. But I don't want to fill them up so they are flush, because this isn't structural, and it would just be a waste of energy, time and resources. So I will leave it as is, and I will get on to the next part. Now I will be making the lid for the fuel intake, which is a 5mm plate that measures 120 by 120 millimeters. Along with this lid, I will be making a couple of hinges with the bike chain. As you can see, I also swiftly blasted this plate to make it easier to weld on. And now I just have to attach the hinges to the plate. The lid itself is finished. It's just tacked on, but it will be plenty strong for this purpose. Now all I need to do is just make a handle. Making a handle is pretty easy. I just take a ruler and my material and I mark out a line at 20 millimeters in each end, just like this. To bend the material for the handle, I just place it in the chuck right here. Then I just take this lengthened pipe, which gives me a mechanical advantage to bend the material. And just go slowly, make sure it doesn't crack. Slow and steady. This is how simple making a handle is, and let's get it welded on the lid. The lid is now functional, and it also stays up by itself. Next up is the ashtray. It's used to clean the combustion chamber so that the air can travel through the tubes freely. Alright guys, now the ashtray is fully retractable and insertable, and it doesn't bind on anything. It rides on these stainless steel rails just to keep the friction low. The last part of the ashtray is going to be the end cap, which makes a pretty tight seal around the end here. And of course, I will also be making a nice little handle for it. I did decide to put 3 legs on instead of 4, because 3 legs always create a plane, which means this can never tilt. If it had 4 legs, it could wobble a bit. I have the lid right here, it stays open, and with a light tap, it closes. The ashtray in the back. It runs pretty nicely. I didn't weld it very much. The reason why I didn't fully weld it is because this end plate is stainless, and stainless tends to warp quite a bit when you weld on it. And now the last thing to do is to give it a test. The best kind of firewood to use are these thin branches. You can either use boards like these, or just find some in the forest. They are easily burnable, easily combustible, and they slide down the fuel input. And let me get it lit. Okay, I've got it going right now. It's quickly picking up some heat. As you can see, the flame is violent and turbulent, which means the airflow is good. I did place it so that the wind flows through the pipe here, but it's not necessary. It does help though to get the fire going quicker. The hotter it burns, the more air it's fed, and in turn it will burn hotter and hotter. When the fuel at the bottom has finished burning, these rods will just fall down due to gravity, and it's just as simple as that. It has now been on for about 5 minutes, and it is burning quite nicely. The flames are just reaching the top, and I think it works pretty great. If you guys want to replicate it, you have to be really careful with the pipe size. If this is too small, you don't have enough airflow, and then it won't work. You will at least need an inside measure of 90 millimeters or more. Now the heat is really picking up, you can see right here. And the reason why you need this lid is to trap all the smoke. The smoke is very flammable, and then it goes up here and becomes heat instead of exiting like this. This is wasted energy. In the future I will probably make some videos where I test this out and cook some food, maybe outdoors. But for now, I think this is pretty great. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I did put a lot of time and effort into it, so I would really appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up And you also click the subscribe button down below. And if you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to throw them in the comments. See you guys!
So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right.